Hey, what's up, folks? This is Gerard, Horticulture, and I'm going to give you a plant update on October. It's October, early October, and I'm going to show you what's going on with my plants and how they're doing. What's going on, folks? If it's your first time stopping by, I appreciate your time. My channel is about plant care, plant community, plant tips. I'm an exotic plant collector, and on this channel, I talk about plants. If it's the first time you've seen me, I appreciate you hitting that like and subscribe button and share. If you think anybody needs some of my care tips on my videos, I greatly appreciate it. This is early October. My plants are doing great, so I'm just going to brag a little bit. Hope you don't mind, but so come on. Matter of fact, you can actually see I'm trying to work these camera actions. So first up, I want to show you, this is my Melicin Ricin plant that, if you see there, that's a new growth happening on it. And I was going to do a time lapse, but I'm pretty much occupied. My Monstera Kai constellation is unfurling a new leaf, but hopefully we can get this done. I just don't have enough cameras for all the unfurling that's happening in this house. This plant is pretty much great. I don't let it get dry too much. I'm getting these spots on the leaves, but they're not too bad. I just a hard plant to maintain. It's sensitive. I was trying to keep that velvety texture, but it's still getting spots here and there, so I'm making sure that there's no fungus or anything growing on it, and I try to dust it easily. But preferably I would not get this plant again because of the extra care that it needs and attention, and I just can't figure out what's going on with these spots. But all in all, this is like a great looking plant. You can see it's just has that silky texture, has a nice little pattern on it, and it's something that you're not going to see in your local plant store, unfortunately, for quite some time. But they're starting to circulate a lot of different plants, I'm noticing, but this one, I haven't seen a lot of it. I recently just propagated it. I may show you that in this or the next coming video, tell you all about that. But this is the Melicin Ricin Philodendron. So what's going on here is a whole lot of growth. I got my pink princess, my jungle cactuses, my propagations, and a lot of other plants that I'm just maneuvering around just to get lighting artificially, and also making sure that these new cuttings that I did get enough light as well. So I have another plant that I just got locally. It's another jungle cactus, has a nice little texture on it. I forgot the name of it. It has like a corkscrew type of shape, and I'm always attracted to these different types of different shaped plants. I don't know what it is, but just like the look of it, Ripsalis, but just the look of it, just I had to get it, and it was like a need, not a want, not a need type of thing, but the care of it's almost the same as like my philodendrons. I let the soil just dry out, and then I just make sure that it's getting enough light, and I'm not watering it excessively. Sorry, I can't speak. And I'm also making sure that I don't get any mealybugs on this, because I got another Ripsalis that is outside right now because it's pretty much infested with mealybugs. So I strongly caution you making sure that you acclimate your plants when you get them, just so they don't infect or have anything crawling on your already established plants that you have in the house. It's one thing you got to make sure of, just to protect your time and your rest of your plants. Just acclimate your new plants. I got a lot of propagations. I got a Paraiso Verde I cut down. I have 5 cuttings off of it, and I'm actually growing it in spag peat moss. I learned to really get acquainted with spag peat moss because of the humidity and the air factor. I'm waiting for us to see some roots happening, but I'll show you upstairs with all my other cuttings, my pink princesses, my Melicin Ricin, and I also have a Varicosum that I'm growing in spec peat moss. I'm coming to appreciate it and trying to find the sweet spot that works for me and whatever plant that I'm growing. But this is a cutting that was didn't show any variegation, but I'm hopefully I can get some variegation back on it. This is, like I said, the Crocodile Verde. I'm just trying to propagate it because it's getting too tall and I had to cut it down. So hopefully I can get like a different type of look for it as time progresses. As I grow with the plant, we'll see what happens. If you got any tips about the Crocodile Verde, let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate anything that you have to offer greatly. Up here, this is the pink variegated string of hearts that I may just kind of plot back because it got super long. It's not as long as my regular string of hearts, but I may be doing some propagation soon. I'm just trying to get some length out of it and seeing how it reacts to the winter time, because we're losing daylight, the sun's less powerful, so I'm just making sure. I'm actually going to probably put these under some grow lights if I intend to propagate it in order to get it a little bit bushier. But everything is looking great with this plant. It's a nice, fast growing plant. I would say moderate growing plant, even though I got it in the light. In the same window right behind me, that's my bay windows. That's my it's one of the things that really give me an edge when I don't have to pay for any type of lighting. Those windows behind me help everything grow. As you can see, I got just everything's right in front of the windows, which limits my living space for my living room, but it's okay. We're working on that. Up next, this is my ZZ Raven. These green leaves are the newest leaves, and this is almost the last shoot that just emerged, and you can see in the screen here that's getting darker. So I was thinking that maybe these leaves are going to get or stay green, but they're not going to stay green. They're eventually going to turn to the rest of the color of the plant, which is real cool. It's like a black, and you can see it's starting to spread in the leaves. But this plant is doing great. I have it in this window still, and I have like my Pilea in there. I have my Varicosums, I have my Ripsalises, I have my Hoyas. I have most of my cuttings in this window. And the great advantage about that window is the length of the sunlight that it's giving me, because I'm getting about 4 hours of direct sun. So that seems to be enough to help my plants flourish under normal, natural light. And I really got to say, I'm really happy I made the choice of buying this house, because I don't think I would be in this position if I didn't have this house showing you about my plants and stuff like that, because my plants love the windows. Even though I do have artificial light, it's always nice to have free lighting. All right, it's kind of hitting me in my face because it's just spreading everywhere, but this is my Hoya Avada that I will probably be propagating, and I don't want to mess it up too much, because I noticed when I was playing with it the other day, it left like a white sap, and I wasn't sure if it was irritating, so I just left it alone. But this is my Hoya Avada. I put it in the window because a friend of mine told me that it loves bright, direct sun. That's what I was giving it, and also it helps it to flower, so I'm waiting for it to flower. This is my first full year with it, and you can see probably in my other videos I had shots of this, but this is how big it gotten this summer, this growing season. And you see I definitely need to cut it down, but this is the Hoya Avada. I make sure the water is good, and it just like the pattern on those leaves has like a waxy, nice shape of leaves. Definitely, I'm not a Hoya person, but this is one I did fall in love with, the Hoya Avada. Really easy care plant, and it loves sun, or loves sun in my house. Now this is my biggest Billy tie ever. I have some new leaves that I'm going to prune off. This is an older leaf. Leaves are going to turn yellow when they need to go. And it's, like I said, it's an older leaf, so I'm probably gonna just pull it off after the video. But this guy's doing pretty well. I do have like a couple growth points in the middle right there. I'll probably be propagating it soon and giving a cutting. I seen a YouTuber making a cutting of her variegated Billy tie, and I can't wait to finish the rest of the video, because I didn't finish the rest of the video on what she was doing. But I never propagated this plant before, so hopefully I can get some information and some research from some other YouTubers that are on YouTube. But this is my Billy tie. It's doing great. Not much to say about it, but it's just a spectacular, tough, sturdy plant, and you can see like how big the leaves are. They're almost big as my head. So nice plant to have. Happy to have it. It needs a watering. That's why I have it down here. Then next up, this is the Crocodile Philodendron. Not much to say about it. It's doing great. Just definitely a spectacular plant. I just commands its own space, and really easy care plant when you give it the right conditions. It's not fussy at all with water. It's tough against pests, and just one of those plants that I just love to have. This is the Crocodile Philodendron, doing great. Up next, this is my Gloriosum that I got from Stasia at Oops I Sold My Planties. You can see we got more growth happening, and it's still doing great. I have it inside now, and I've just been constantly making sure I don't overwater it, and I make sure the soil dries out as much as possible before I water it again, because I'm just learning the ways of this plant, and I'm trying to fill the leaves, because usually I can tell how much water it needs because of the thickness of the leaves, and I just try to find the balance. But I'm just constantly making sure that I let this thing dry out before watering. But this plant's doing well, got more growth. I have it under artificial light, and it seems to be doing pretty good. So finishing up over here, I have a reverted white knight. There's no more white knight. There is my red heart philodendron that is getting bigger, and I believe I showed you guys earlier my Gloriosum from Stasia at Oops I Sold My Plants, and then that's the Stendalinia that I got from Tropical Plant Seductions. And over here, Jewel Orchid, got some new growth going on down there. My VHI, that's got some new growth. It's a rehab. You see, that's the old leaves. These are the two newest leaves after, I believe, 6 months. And last one I'm going to show you today is the Moonlight Philodendron. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about that Varicosum that I have. It's peat moss I just watered. These things are taking off in that peat moss. I'm so happy I used peat moss. But let me just finish this. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll have more plants updates for you shortly, and keep growing.